I need 2 blacks and a half pint of rum. What a good you got a mixed store run. Got a grown ass girl coming over for fun. I ain't dealing with the ones young dumb gonna come. And she bad, tall and pretty. Yeah, Amazon freak with some triple DTs. That's why I can't know she ain't itty bitty. She a solid ass chick from Chi-Town City. Yeah, all my bitches get up. I love all the bitches cause they all freak hoes. They all do the money we ain't up. They all do the bag and they all got their own. No, I'm not a pimp, but I got a lot of hoes. I touch a lot of money when it comes, then it goes. Will I see you ever when I die, Lord? Don't put my bitch in my head cause she already so fit. I wanna nut right now. I wanna nut. I wanna nut. Yeah, I wanna nut right now. Not now, right now. I wanna nut right now. I wanna nut. I wanna nut. Yeah, I wanna nut right now. Not now, right now. I wanna nut right now. I wanna nut. I wanna nut. Yeah, I wanna nut right now. Not now, right now. I wanna nut right now. I wanna nut. I wanna nut. Yeah, I wanna nut right now. Not now, right now. I like to lick it before I stick it. And she loves to suck it before she fucks it. She loves the way I touch her ass out of public. I touch it, I love it, I know she loves it. She wake up, she don't play around. She a solo position, she lay it down. Ass up with her face down. Say she want it nut, she want it down. And I was feeling tough titties and kitty, but the poor tastes good. So I have to feel like it. She said till I could, or I ate it from the back like a woman should. My bitch bad, and she hood. Your bitch wanna do my bitch good. So I told her to feel my bitch. I'm a rock good. Coke is here wrong. I drink while I'm looking at my bitch till she come. I beat it from the back, I'm beating on the drum. Lord, please give me the Lord, here I come. I get your step, speed it up. I put my hand on the throat when I beat it up. That's rough. I ain't never been a when I beat it up. Giddy up, bitch, giddy up. Ass up, face down when I beat it up. I'm a knock for a nut, can't get enough. Show enough. I'm an addict, I'm harder than a Nick Bowl. Get money, fucking boy, I won't let go. I will nut right now. I will nut right now. Not now, right now. I will nut right now. I will nut right now. Not now, right now. I will nut right now. I will nut, yeah, I will nut right now. Not now, right now. I will nut right now. I will nut.
With you, he told me you cool. I told you we cool. We not a cool. We not a team. I know what I mean. You got like a fiend, like you want to be. Look at these roads and these niggas can't stop me. All these niggas gon' hate, they can't top me. I know you a man, nigga. You jock me, stop me, constantly, always watch me. On my page, I'm on the stage. I'll be the motherfucking can't relate your rage. I don't give a damn, nigga. I'll be outraged. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Under it. Up at the top of these niggas is mad because I need to never stop. I don't give a fuck cause you an enemy, jocking me, watching me like an eye. I don't give a fuck, bitch, I never put into these niggas, I'm not no cop. Y'all bitch ass niggas ain't red signs, niggas, so I will never stop. I'm from the 510, get in my dough, I don't give a fuck, nigga, I just let it all go. Y'all niggas is mad cause I'm in the zone, I'm zoning these niggas, I'm whipping these red hoes. All of this orange shit, like the construction bitch, running this shit. In the melatonin trick, I don't give a fuck what y'all niggas wanna say, cause y'all niggas mad, you ain't getting that pay. Working on T, getting that money, niggas is hella like fast car numbers, ain't getting no money, you dead like mummies, y'all niggas to me, irrelevant and funny, I don't give a fuck. Nigga, I'm at the top. Y'all niggas mad, you watch me like clock. I don't give a damn what you gotta say. I like your body, try to y'all say what I say. Then I spit. I don't give a fuck. I get hit after hit. You niggas is tricks. Feel this shit now. I rap you do. Don't give a fuck. I eat you like food. Niggas is mad cause got weak ass crew. You can't even beat me with all of you. Nigga, I'm crazy. Came out the zoo like the open zoo. Nigga, fuck all of you. Do it the game. I don't give a fuck about clocking no fame. Clocking no fame. Don't give a fuck cause you relevant. Nigga, you don't respect the fucking game. Up to the top and I never stop. I don't give a fuck like I already said. You bitches is niggas as mad as a hella mad cause you still paying for head. You ain't getting brag, your pockets on tap tap yellow man cause you motherfucker can't speak like that. Talking about I'ma do my own shit and giving it damn nigga get on the grid. I don't give a fuck if you butt or a crip, you just disrespect me, you touch with trick. Dead to this shit, dead to me, I don't give a fuck, nigga, you an enemy, fuck a friend of me, you ain't been shit to me. Niggas ain't even on this motherfucking shit. I just had to go back, niggas was trying to block my sucker, but God delivered me from this. That's real shit, nigga. Okay.
Do say, her niggas mad, no mood ring. I'ma pull up like Bruce Wayne. Me and your boo thing, her wanna kick it like Luke Kane. Gotta feel me, yeah, like 2 Chainz. Do say, her niggas mad, no mood ring. I'ma pull up like Bruce Wayne. Me and your boo thing, her wanna kick it like Luke Kane. Gotta feel me, yeah, like 2 Chainz. Do say, boy, better come get his boo thing before we slide off in that coupe thing. Why you hating on us, but you too lame? Ape City up next, you'll be too paid. Why these soft niggas tryna act hard? I heard you got beat in your front yard. Yeah, I spent a lot, but I stack hard. Bitch, I'm tryna give me a black card. Why they hate on the H? We doing great. We ain't seeing face to face, they congratulate. Got 30 in the Glock, 50 in the Drake. Put him in the lake, tryna eat a far in the place. Strictly only birds, but we not in trouble. Tryna get a cat, nigga, fuck SRT. I gas every song, but you ain't in my league. Shoot like Kobe while I'm going for the 3. Duce got me in my zone. Go to the net, but you ain't in my phone. 850-27, Nick Leon. 60, yeah, I do it for my zone. Wanna be us, but you niggas some clones. Clutch it, but we know you ain't finna blow. You niggas hoes, we already know. Why if you hate, go get you some dough. Do say, her niggas mad, no mood ring. I'ma pull up like Bruce Wayne. Me and your boo thing, I just wanna kick it like Luke Kane. Gotta feel me, yeah, like 2 Chainz. Do say, her niggas mad, no mood ring. I'ma pull up like Bruce Wayne. Me and your boo thing, I just wanna kick it like Luke Kane. Gotta feel me, yeah, like 2 Chainz.
I just dropped something, my dude say, got a niggas going off 2 things. Money stack tall like 2 chains, and I'm hot like blue flame. Got these niggas mad when they see us, but they move change. Things out of bed, I put that on everything, that's on my word. You niggas get skirt, look what you hurt. Bitch, I'm with all of them birds. Y'all niggas up in my nerve. Talking, I don't do them words. Unless you talking the first. I just might talk with a slur. Cause I'm on do say, damn stuff shit like blue play. That's what I do, I say, blue thing. Get to a meal from Boots Tank, starting in the bucket to the finish in the swoop thing.
Do say, her niggas mad, no mood ring. I'ma pull up like Bruce Wayne, me and your boo thing. Her just wanna kick it like Luke Kane. Gotta give me, yeah, like 2 Chainz. Do say, her niggas mad, no mood ring. I'ma pull up like Bruce Wayne, me and your boo thing. Her just wanna kick it like Luke Kane. Gotta give me, yeah, like 2 Chainz.
I feel alright. Woo! Ever wake up in the morning and you're feeling like fine? Had a hard night's sleep, got a lot on your mind. You gotta tell yourself to relax, just you. I feel right, I feel alright. I feel good, I'm okay, I feel alright. No matter what nobody say, gotta do what you do. Live up, praise God, just do you, do you. No matter the world is up, the world get in your way. You feel good, you feel fine, you feel okay. I feel good, I feel right, I feel okay. I feel good, I feel right, I feel okay. I feel good, I feel right, I feel okay. I feel good, so good, so good, good, so good. I feel right, so right, so right, so right. I feel good, so good, so right.
I'm out with the fellas, that shit you can tell us. Everybody dip, pocket full of grip, ink on my hip. Hope it don't go there. Trying to play games, you ain't going nowhere. Out with the fellas, that shit you can tell us. Everybody dip, pocket full of grip, ink on my hip. Hope it don't go there. Trying to play games, you ain't going nowhere. Friday night, fresh off of work, kids good. So some fun I search. Hit up the squad, what's the plan? I'm headed to that action, no I'm not playing. Pull up to the spot, packed crowd. Walk through that bitch, puffing on loud in my section. I need 6 bottles. First you get the money, then the rest will follow. Feeling good, I gave her a tip. My look good, shaking her hip, fight nice. I'm all in the moment, drama. Cause we all on some grown shit, relaxing, taking more shots, rolling up the next until we get to the top. I'm hot, put a new coat on, island, see some chicks fighting, and wild, smiling, cause I'm stress-free, fucking with my fellas and some young OGs, yeah, fellas, that shit you can tell us, everybody dip, pocket full of grip, ink on my hip, hope it don't go there, trying to play games, you ain't going nowhere, out with the fellas, that shit you can tell us, everybody dip, pocket full of grip, ink on my hip, hope it don't go there, trying to play games, you ain't going nowhere.
It's that time, y'all. AnnA's Historical Global History Night with Anna Bergman and DJ Rowe. Anna, you in the building?
Sure am. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, Roselle? What's up, Facebook? I decided to put us back on Facebook because somebody asked me about it. So we'll see. Facebook, if you're listening, hello. Have not seen you for a while. Shoot me a message if you want to come on the show. Yes. Yeah. What's up, Roselle? How's it going?
Oh, same old, you know.
I can't hear you.
Same old. Same old. Chilling,
yeah. The playoffs.
Ooh, well, the Kings are gone, so that's it for the Kings, dude. So got to see what happens now.
I guess so.
I'm not really too fond of the Lakers either, so the Lakers and Warriors is kind of like, okay, whatever.
Really? You're not into the Warriors? I
told you I'm not really that much of a Warrior fan like that. I had a lot of people who used to be. I knew who were Bulls fans.
Hey, Roke, talk in the mic, please. Can't hear you.
Hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people who I know used to be Bulls fans and they turned Warrior fans, and I'm not just into the Warriors. The Warriors didn't used to be that good, so
I thought it was like a rule in this area that you had to be into the Warriors.
I don't know. Now Roe ain't a Warrior.
Roe marches to his own beat.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. The thing about my dad is that he doesn't care about the teams. I mean, he loves basketball. I mean, that's his big love. And then football. He loves watching, but he doesn't care about the teams. He cares about whether it's a good game.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that. I mean, that's a good way of seeing it, but
hey, Ro, please, I can't hear you. You need one of those clip-on mics or something.
I don't know, man. My mic has been working good before. That's weird.
It's the same way. Well, you just don't talk into it.
I guess not. I've been talking into it. So well, you can hear me now.
I can hear you now, but you just like move your head around. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think my dad, he could not even know who the team was and enjoy the game if it was a good game. You know, like he didn't like Kobe. My dad didn't think Kobe was a very good player.
And Kobe was actually pretty good, but why doesn't he think Kobe was a
good
player?
He didn't think he was an interesting player.
Oh.
Yeah, he said, I don't know. He just said he thought a lot of people were a lot better. So, yeah.
Oh, so he had some. See, I see. He had a little bit of challenge to the game right there. See, he had a little bit to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I like to keep up, my dad. So okay, Scott's here. Okay, so we're gonna start with Missy Elliott, who was just she was just admitted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she's the first female rapper to be admitted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Who is this? You talking about
Missy Elliott?
She deserves it. I think she should go.
Well, she hella deserves it. I mean, it's not like I'm surprised, but damn. I mean, it took a long time. I mean, there's other women that deserve it too. When did they start bringing rappers into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
That I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. I don't know. But
okay.
I think out of all the women, she really deserves it.
Well, she does, but there's other women that do too. And I was just surprised I was surprised. I was not surprised that she was the first one for it to happen to, but congratulations.
Who else do you think deserves it?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be, I don't know. I mean, I don't have, me. I mean, I like to be super informed. I mean, okay, well, I don't know. Well, like, what about Queen Latifah?
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I can see her being in there, but I would still choose Missy over Queen Latifah.
Well, there should be both. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If it took them till 2020, that's kind of the point. I mean, since it took them to 2023 to put in a woman.
Because Missy does a lot. She does a lot of work. She's like also a producer.
Yeah.
Queen Latifah isn't really a producer.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Missy was a good choice.
She definitely deserves it. And, I mean, I don't know the landscape really well enough to say, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the women rappers, because it's not just about being famous. I mean, I know more of the famous ones, and I certainly, especially when I was really getting into poetry. I mean, at that point, I was obsessed with female rappers. I would try and find all the ones I could, and just because of how they could express themselves, because that's what I was learning how to do with writing.
So who are some of your favorite female rappers?
The Conscious Daughters.
Okay.
And the Boss.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think people knew the Boss.
Pardon?
I didn't think people really remembered the Boss.
Really? Yeah. But yeah, man. Oh God, Izzy. I was obsessed with the Conscious Daughters. So, play them all the time. And at that point, I mean, Queen Latifah at the time was really mainstream. So, I mean, a lot of people were hearing her, and so, yeah, what I was hearing. Izzy Drumgule is listening. Hey, Izzy. Izzy is fucking knocking it out with murals in Vallejo, like nonstop, which is very cool. I mean, murals are the best. Murals are the best because, for the most part, because it's hard for people to steal them. It's hard for people to take them away and put them from the communities where they are and display them. When I was in Mexico City, there's so many murals all over Mexico. And it was dope because there's just a lot of places you go to, where you realize that there's not even as much to see. And we'll get to this because shit's in museums. So, yeah, Izzy, do you want to come on the show? I can shoot you a Zoom link. Okay. We'll get to that in a little bit, but okay. Meanwhile, Americans have been caught trying to smuggle hundreds of pounds of fruit roll-ups into the state of Israel.
Man, I didn't even know we still had fruit roll-ups.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. Oh, there's no sound. Shit. Okay, now, is there sound now? Shit. Is there sound now? Ugh, fuck. Where do I have this link to? Shit, I remember this happening before. Well, yeah, it's not like kids are oh, cool, thank you. It's not like kids are gonna actually eat fruit or something. I mean, there's so many different kinds, I guess, of like companies, and I don't know. I mean, they have to have a certain percentage of fruit to be called fruit. Oh, good, honey. Awesome. They have to be called fruit roll-ups, but okay. So the reason is that there's a TikTok craze, which is putting ice cream in fruit roll-ups and freezing them. That actually sounds pretty good.
That's what I was gonna say. That doesn't sound bad. I thought you was gonna tell me something worse.
Oh, I know.
I didn't know we still sold fruit roll-ups. I haven't seen a commercial from them in years.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know, probably from like working in food banks. Because I don't know, man. Because there's not just fruit roll-ups now. There's like these there's like little fruit jelly. I mean, they're like fucking gummy bears. They just say they're fruit. Yeah, so apparently they don't, there's a fruit roll-up shortage in the state of Israel. So people are trying to smuggle them in. And so I saw a little bit of the video, and the customs people are asking the guy like, well, didn't you pack any clothes? Because the only thing in his suitcase was fruit roll-ups. I mean, yeah. He said, my clothes are there, but that's just so stupid. Just fucking, why don't you just declare them or something? I mean, it's
Exactly.
fruit roll-ups. It can't be that expensive to declare them. So yeah, but I guess that's how you maybe it had, well, I mean, sometimes there's regulations about bringing produce into other countries, but I don't think that was the issue. But however, again, when it comes to TikTok, this is mild. This is good because a lot of stuff people do on TikTok challenges are really dangerous, like frozen honey, which apparently it's like, so people were like biting into it. Sounds disgusting, but I don't know. I mean, apparently that's more than it. Apparently it's worse than just being bad for your teeth. There were other problems too. I mean, TikTok is dangerous. It's one of the companies that my brother's law firm is suing because they bombard kids with dangerous content, like how to hang yourself, and with specific instructions, and they'll find kids hanging that have followed those instructions. And I don't give a shit about the whole China spying on the US and stuff. I mean, what the fuck are they going to find from like average people using TikTok? And I mean, if the government can't secure themselves, I mean, it's the government's responsibility to secure themselves, which they don't always do such a good job of, but that's their problem. However, in China, I mean, it's as everything, and again, their government, I certainly don't support the restrictions that the government places on people, but children there only get they're only allowed to get like educational videos and stuff, which is going to be propaganda. I'm not I certainly don't like kids being fed propaganda, but it's a lot better than them being shown how to hang themselves. And the other thing that happens is, I mean, they have one of the kids, and they promote eating disorders by a kid went on, like if somebody goes on TikTok and searches for exercise videos, the algorithms will suggest anorexia videos, like videos of how to starve yourself and videos.
I thought there was like an age limit, so that's no longer a thing no more.
It's very easy to surmount. And with even the age limit, I mean, I think the age limit for some of them were 12. That's still way too young. I mean, if that is for the shit they're showing. And I've always been somebody that thinks like, okay, you don't need to, okay, well, why can't you just talk about this stuff? Or, why can't you just keep an eye on stuff? But you're just seeing the danger, and that there's highly paid programmers and all of that who are spending their time figuring out these algorithms that are deliberately figuring out how to target children. I mean, how to monetize children. So, I mean, that's not parents' fault. I mean, parents are trying to raise their kids and pay the bills. I mean, they should not be held responsible. And, besides the fact of like, okay, even if the parent is like, even if the parents don't do the greatest job supervising their kids, the kids are still, this dangerous media is still being given to kids, and they still love their kids. They're so yeah, like, okay, this is dangerous, this is harming people, and it's very easy to surmount the age thing if they want to do it. I mean, and the legal argument is that there's less, it's like the dating sites have real strict mechanisms to make sure people say they are who they say they are, because if there's too much fraud, it is in their interests to do that. Because if people keep getting, if people get faked out a lot, they're just not going to want to use that site. They're going to want to use a different site. So it's, and, I mean, they do want people to be able to meet each other, because they want people, I mean, for them, if people like get a date out of it, and the date is, maybe they don't ride off into the sunset, but the date is the person that they said they were, they're going to keep going back to find Mr. or Ms. or Mix right. So yeah, it's in their interest to do that. So they do. And it is not in the interest of the social media companies make money by having their children, by people staying on their site for as long as possible. So it is in their interest to hook people, to keep people looking at stuff. So, and to be able to charge more advertising dollars, and like a kid looking for, and it's not even just suggestions of pro anorexia, like some of these programs of these sites, they'll like target their mail, they'll like they have a way to like send them directly to kids. Oh, like Instagram does that. I mean, Instagram, you get all sorts of weird, I mean, I don't get that much. I keep my Instagram circle real small, but people can, I guess they get their inboxes bombarded with content saying to kill yourself.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, it's just real upsetting. I mean, I had mental health challenges as a kid, and it's meant a lot to me that for a while it seemed like there was more, there had gotten to be more understanding of mental health in children, and a lot more attention paid to aspects of kids' life that nobody paid attention to when I was a kid. So I thought things had gotten better, and so, which meant a lot to me. So the fact that it hasn't, that is just really upsetting. I mean, it makes me really mad. It makes me really unhappy. And yeah. So, but yeah. So in other words, yeah, man, feed kids propaganda, man. Anything other than don't teach them how to do all that. And what the approach, I forget what it's called, but the reason that this happens is because of a law that was passed in the early days of the internet, which my understanding would be, whatever's like AOL could not be held, wasn't responsible for dangerous content that was posted on it, for manifestos or something posted on it, the social on it. And I'm trying to think of more examples, or I don't know. I mean, damn, it just seems that, I mean, they're just that like if a defective product was advertised on AOL, you couldn't or can't sue ASL for it. I mean, AOL for it. Which is correct. I mean, and at that time, it was just so amazing. I mean, people were figuring out how much you could do. So that is why the social media companies are able to do what they do, because up to now, they have not been held responsible for the damage done on their platforms because of rules that were developed in the early days of the internet, when the internet was very different. And before there was social media. So, I mean, it's kind of like when we talk about the Constitution and all that. I mean, the right to bear arms was established when people had muskets that they had to reload bullet by bullet. Not the kind of weapons they have now. And so laws need to change. Technology changes, and laws need to keep up. So, I mean, the approach is that social media has created a system. They're making money. They make money off people using their platform. So they're making money off of people out of this platform being used by people to harm themselves and harm others. There's you know, they just kind of really push it because the other thing Matt is doing is they're working on going after social media companies for radicalizing people online they're doing it on behalf of the congregation of the Jewish congregation. In Buffalo that was hit by a mass shooter. So there's now lawsuits against social media companies for people being radicalized online. And one of the things they're doing to kick it off is having an interfaith service. I mean, which is good because that's certainly, you don't want it to seem like it's just like you're just trying to protect one group. That's just how you have to do it in legal cases. You have to, you can't make it about everybody for the most part. So I was I talked about it before. And so, for example, we're sending good wishes to Ralph Yarl, who was the 16-year-old Black young man that was shot, who was sent to pick up his younger siblings and went to the wrong house and walked up the step, and the guy was shot. I can't remember. So I talked about this before, but it came up again in my Bible study class. The grandson of the guy went on TV to apologize on behalf of his family and to say that, I mean, his family, and to disavow his grandfather and apologize. And so one of the things I thought was so remarkable was that this young man, the grandson, was not used to, you could tell he had no public speaking experience at all. And he was not, and he had a couple things he was saying, and the newscasters, they would ask him because you know how they would ask him questions and stuff, and he would just go back to what he was saying, to what he'd said. And like seeing somebody, I mean, it wasn't like he didn't even seem super uncomfortable. It wasn't so much, he didn't seem like really shy or anything. I mean, he just didn't seem like somebody that was that into public speaking. So his inarticularity was so articulate. It came across so much stronger what he was trying to express, that he had like three things he was saying that he kept saying instead of, like most people do, trying to say the same thing 10 different ways. And he said that his grandfather had been radicalized by Fox News and by what he saw online, and that it had been getting worse and worse over the years. And he tried to talk to him about it too. So, like there's a lawsuit about, I mean, and I even, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. There's, because again, I mean, I would never they used to have some good reporters on Fox News who I would watch. I like to check in. I want to see what people are talking about for myself. I don't want to listen to other people talk about how terrible it is. but they gradually left. The real journalists just gradually left. So, I mean, media is powerful. They've just been, and apparently I saw an interview with a pastor who just said, I mean, he sees people for a couple hours once a week, if that. Meanwhile, there's 24/7 news.
I don't know, man. I don't know
I
what
can't hear you. What, Ro?
I said I don't know what other countries are like. You
Yeah.
can't hear me? Can you
I
hear
can't
me?
hear you.
You
Yeah,
can't hear
speak
me
in the
right
mic.
now.
No,
I'm on the mic.
you need to turn the mic up or something.
It's turned up as loud as it'll go. You don't hear me.
You seem to speak into it. I don't think you're.
Dude, I'm like
Now
kissing
you
the
are.
mic.
Okay.
I don't know. Is yours turned up? Is your computer turned up?
Maybe that's the problem. Let me see. Okay, I'll turn mine up. I'm sorry.
Hello, can
Maybe
you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah. I'm
I'm
sorry.
like,
I
something ain't
usually.
right, yeah, because I'm having to really like scream. But that's what I think is wrong with people now. Is like, to me, it's kind of like, I don't know, man. It's I think people are letting the media get to them too much. And I think
Yeah.
that's all the way around, even down to the internet, like with TikTok and stuff. And I get it. You know, we need to do all this stuff to stop them from showing stuff. But I don't know, man. People have to be smart enough to know certain things you're not supposed to do or you shouldn't do.
Yeah, and
And
they
I
want.
mean, that's my part of it. It's like, to me, it's kind of a lot of people want to blame. Okay, we want to blame the media. We want to blame TikTok. But dude, you guys know certain things you're not supposed to do. Why
Well, they
do
do.
you? I mean, I don't know. It just seems like really people. It's a cop out is blaming someone else for something that some people know is wrong. They know.
Well, I thought, but
it's
shoot,
kinda
I thought
weird
I'd
to
made
me.
my point in half. Shoot, I thought I'd made my point in the past half an hour that, like, yeah, you do need to, like, sure, you need to limit your kids' social media and all that, but you have, I mean, you have people that are deliberately trying to go against you, that are deliberately trying to, if something's not like if you have a car with no doors, it's not like putting on like it's not like the point isn't to wear a suitcase, to that you should be wearing a seatbelt.
Right.
It's still, it is multifaceted, and that is how I feel. I mean, yeah, and I mean, mental health is very much that.
And I totally get that part, but I mean, with me personally, since I was a kid, I used to watch all kinds of movies. I could watch a scary movie, let's just say like a gangster movie or anything, but I knew it was a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To a certain degree, it's like, I don't know. To me, it's kind of like a lot of people, and I get, and I totally understand the mental health thing, but, and you know this, Anna, when we were kids, we knew better, dude. We didn't go out and, you know what I'm saying? You could watch The Godfather, but did you go out and try to kill people because you saw the movie The Godfather? No, you knew it was a movie.
Yeah, but there wasn't social media. I mean,
But to me, what's the difference? You're still,
well, because it's 24, because it's nonstop, because it's 24/7. I mean, because like we could watch, and I was a big movie wimp. I mean, we could watch, actually, no, that's not, like, you watch a movie, it's over. Basically. I mean,
yeah,
that's like,
but I mean, I guess you could keep watching TikTok, but when you watch that one TikTok, it ends eventually. I mean, I just don't get.
But they have things like Instagram. They do things like, they'll have things like kids can get like 100 messages saying to kill themselves.
Dude, how do you get that?
I don't know, but they do. I don't know, but they do. So that is not something that we dealt with.
That's weird, man.
I know, Ro, but they do.
That's
that is what
but
happened.
I don't know if I was a kid and I got 100 messages to kill myself, I would probably turn off the messages as a kid. I would have turned them off. I don't know. It's
Well,
weird. It's kind of weird. I
we
don't know.
just,
It's just
I mean, it's kind of, I mean, you know, it's some of it had to do with the pandemic, and because kids were on their phones even more. I mean, like I really try and turn off my phone and all that, but you know, everybody in our culture, in our country, I mean, people are on their fucking phones all the time, and it is designed to be addictive. I mean, and you know, they have things like you know, there's examples of that too. You know, parents will like take away their kid's phone and the kid will go ask a stranger to use their phone. I mean, it's that addictive. I mean, and like with addiction, I mean, addiction is both chemical, it's both physical and mental. I mean, so if you're addicted to alcohol or heroin or something, it has changed physical things in your body. So there needs to be, I don't know, understanding, treatment, whatever. So that's why you can't just quit. I mean, it's not just willpower or whatever. And so there's evidence that social media changes neural pathways. I mean, and so, yeah, I mean, it's different. So,
you know, I get what you're saying. I totally understand it, and I get it. I just sometimes think that we have so many excuses to make that an excuse instead of the excuse of just not doing it.
and
It's like, I mean, we can go on mental health, but it's like at some point, you know what I'm saying? If you know something is bothering you, you got to leave it alone. You got to learn to leave it alone at some point. There's other way. There's no other way to take care of it. There's never going to be a way until someone's strong enough to be like, you know what, I'm not dealing with this foolishness no more. Click.
See, I used to see one of the things, I mean, I was bullied as a kid. And so one of the things that I've somewhat gone back and forth of it, or I've had different opinions over the years, is that now bullying is taken seriously. I mean, you know, I mean, when I was a girl, they tell you that it was like boys picking on you meant that you were pretty. And, you know, that's not, it was just like, oh, kids bully each other. So I thought that, I thought it was good. I think it's good that bullying is taken more seriously. But then I thought that, yeah, people would totally flip about it. Like, and that particularly people would focus on the bullying and not see bullies as children, and not see that, like, okay, if your kid, for the most part, I mean, if a kid's beating up on another kid, somebody's beating up on that. And you need to try and figure that out. And, you know, they'll have a lot of like, oh, we have zero tolerance. We're going to suspend this kid for being a bully. Well, so then that doesn't make it, how is that going to help? And so, but the difference is, like, you know, when we were kids, we could go home, you'd go home and get a break from school. But now with social media, that doesn't happen. So that's the difference. They can be getting they can be getting an onslaught of messages, and they don't have the cognitive, they can't process it. And so they don't necessarily have the judgment and cognitive abilities to think like, oh, this is damaging to me. I'm not going to watch. I'm going to step away from this. And you can't, you know, I mean, kids are going to act up. Kids are going to get into things, but the consequences, and in some areas, and I mean, it's like if your kid starts running around with the wrong crowd that it has guns and stuff like that, I mean, yeah, that's a situation of real serious consequences for acting up. But there's other stuff kids can do that that's serious. But yeah, but I mean, the consequences for, like, say you're not supposed to be on the computer after school. Well, a lot of kids are going to break that rule. And so breaking rules, and so then they'll get this onslaught of messages. I mean, say, you come home from school and you're by yourself until your parents get home from work and stuff. So, yeah, if they're going to not, I mean, the idea, like, kids should do what their parents say, but they're simply not going to all of the time.
You kind of see how this is happening, how it's almost like there's too many excuses. I don't know. It just seems like there's not enough standing up, like, okay, well, maybe social media needs to be only for 18 on up.
Well, that's one of the things that, there's legislation. There's also legislation about that to make it for like 16 and over.
On up,
yeah.
But maybe there's certain things there has to be, because I don't know, to me, like I said, it's too much. There's too much coddling of the situation and not much of taking care of the situation. That's how I'm seeing it. Like, I get what you're saying. Everything you're saying is true. But I mean, even back then when we had bullies, there's at one point where you have to step up to that bully. If there's social media and this bully
kids aren't being,
you gotta either block that bully, because if they're not gonna make it to 16, a certain age, what can anybody do about it if you're going to see this person every day, unless you stand up to them?
Well, yeah, or, I mean, it's fucked up because people blame the schools, and it's not the school. I don't think it's the school's fault. You can't, nobody can make.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't think the schools should be blamed.
I don't think the school, and sometimes, like with me, and I'll say this, I don't think it should be social media. Everybody, like you said, everybody has their own mental state. They have their own issues. If you can't handle being on social media, you shouldn't be on. That's how I am. I just believe you shouldn't be on it. If you drink alcohol and it bothers you and you act crazy when you drink it, to me, you just shouldn't be drinking it. Even though people are going to still drink it, I get it. I'm not saying I know the addiction part, but we have to come to a way that we can actually solve the problem. And it just seems like a lot of and blame other situations, like, let's sue social media, let's sue the movie theaters, or let's do this and that. And it's like, well, let's just handle the situation for what it is. If you can't handle this on social media, maybe you shouldn't be on social media.
Okay. So here's an example that was happening in Vallejo last week. So California banned flavored tobacco because it's marketed to children. I mean, basically it is only so, so yeah, I mean, I agreed with that. But then in Vallejo, there's been a group that was trying to do a city-wide ban on flavored tobacco, which makes it enforceable, basically. And I mean, I said that I don't like that. I mean, I don't like to see small businesses busted. I mean, I don't think they're the I mean, yeah, there's like corner stores everywhere selling crap, but I don't think they're the problem, basically. I think that you're just kind of bottom feeding, basically. You're going to go after, it's going after the person that fires the gun instead of the person that ordered the hit. And so, yeah, the enemy is big tobacco. Like, one of the things that so I was listening to people speak, and a woman was saying, like, I haven't paid, it's not like grape and cherry. There's something or other. There's like dulce de leche tobacco. Yeah.
I don't smoke, so I don't know.
Well, it's like chewing tobacco. I think, or, I'm not totally sure, but, so there they are, like deliberately marketing to Latinx kids. So, I mean, it was kind of the same logic, because you're always going to have people saying, well, just, don't like, tell your, it's not the store's responsibility to keep your kids from from smoking. And no, it isn't. And I don't think nobody thinks that parents should just abandon their responsibility. But when you have big companies coming up with products especially to addict children, yeah, you should go after them. I mean, particularly those stores are in lower income areas. They're not set up selling in rich neighborhoods.
I can agree with that. I can see that. I
Yeah.
remember back a long time ago when all this kind of first started. I remember when the video game Grand Theft Auto came out. And I think someone shot somebody because of the video game.
Yeah.
And it's like they tried to go after Rockstar because of that.
Oh, right.
And it's kind of a little bit similar to what you're saying. It's a game that's catered for kids, but it has adult themes to it. And like I said, to me, it's kind of a double-edged sword. If you know your kid and your kid is one of them kids that wouldn't be able to handle something like that, you should really enforce them not doing it.
You should. And
like I've seen it where they have all those different flavors of tobacco and stuff like strawberry shortcake. But
yeah,
I mean, I know grown-ups that smoke that stuff too.
Really?
Well, I mean, and it's not just the tobacco. And we know this. There's weed that's like that too.
I know.
And I knew some people that would have kids that smoke weed, and I'm sure
I
their
smoked
kids
weed
know.
when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm understanding that, and then I'm sure their parents know they smoke weed. And to me, it's like, I don't know, man. It's.
Well, it needs to be multifaceted. I mean, like, as mental, somebody was then there's always people complaining about, somebody was complaining about how, about how the with all the serious issues facing Vallejo, why is this being discussed at city council meetings? I'm like, okay, come on. This is an issue that is important to people. Like, okay, police brutality is not going anywhere. Homelessness is not going anywhere. So, okay, we can take and that those are basically, huge, complicated issues that affect the whole country. I mean, it's an issue that is important to people. I mean, there's youth there, like there were youth speaking about this and parents. And so, it's cool for people. It's people directly in communities that are being marketed to speaking up about it, which is awesome.
Right. That's good.
So
speak up at least.
Yeah, it's good. It's I was at a potluck and somebody said something about, well, if the homeless people would get off drugs, and I was like, oh God, and I just sort of walked away. Like, I don't argue with people about stuff like that. It does not make a damn bit. I mean, I basically with most stuff, I don't argue with people. It does not make a damn bit of difference, basically. Nobody is, and so then, and this particular person, you know, I mean, he's a friend of mine. I mean, he's just one of these people. He says dumb shit. You know, some people are just like that. And I mean, he's a cool guy. So I just sort of walked away, and then he came up to me and he's like, Anna, you didn't hear what I was saying. You know, he's like, Anna, but I know I was homeless. So what the fuck am I going to say to that? I mean, he's kind of the sort of person that's going to, so far as his worldview, he's just going to look at it through his own experience. And he's been homeless. I mean, I'm certainly not going to try and impose my view. But anyway, I mean, the point is that, like, yes, there's addiction. There's all sorts of things. There's all sorts of different reasons that people are homeless, and you need to look at different aspects. Basically, you can't try and one conversation I really don't have with people for them, like my nephew is a psychologist, and he was working with cops on mindfulness and stuff like that. And, you know, I mean, the idea is if people are calmer and more chilled out, they don't like shoot people. And nobody's going to say that that's the only that is not the answer. That is not the problem. That is not why this happens. I mean, it is addressing one issue as part of so yeah, that is certainly not something I talk about with people, because I don't really, so yeah. But I mean, I think but what was funny was, I mean, it's because the person was talking to me about, you know, why is the city council spending time on this? And I'm like, okay, you remember that you were talking to the person who spent weeks trying to get the city council to have ASL interpretation. I mean, you know, if an issue matters to people, they should be able to discuss it. They should discuss it, basically. So should we take a break?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Okay, thank you for listening. We'll be back, everybody.
This is who I am. This is from my heart. This is who I be. This is where I started. And I be making my way, making my way. It's all about the fame. I be making my way. Who I am from my heart. This is where I be. This is where I started. And I be making my way. It's all about the fame. I be making my way. Yeah, I've been in this thing for a minute, with my head up in the clouds, hoping that I finish. I be rapping, I be sinking to the day I die. Ambitions of a true survivor, so there I ride. It's my reply to the whole world, know my name. Lights, camera, action to the top, all the way. Yeah, there I go with a smile wrapped around my face, knowing that I made it all the way with God's grace. I found my place with harmonies, keys and melodies. It's all in my brain. The hustler psychology possibly made me this way. Since 7 years old, I've been rocking the stage, and now I'm all grown up, and I be doing the same. Yes, this is from my heart. This is who I be. This is where I started, and I be making my way, making my way. It's all about the fame. I be making my way. Who I am from my heart. This is who I be. This is where I started, and I be making my way. It's all about the fame. I be making my way.
Ain't no limit
things in this world for free. We all out for them dollar bills. I'm stacking it in gold. We trust. I got my eyes on the prize. No falling out. Every day is a struggle, but I'm devoted to the cause, so I'm going out. Busting in these streets on the paper chase. Doing features and shows. Get my exposure. That's the reason they wanna hate. But tell me what you know about me. This shit ain't come overnight. Hell, I've been grinding since the age 13. Learn my game in the streets from the OG. They taught me get money and fuck these haters. Let them blow like a wind breeze. D1 don't depend on no man. If it ain't about money, it ain't about me. That's the motto with master plan. I do this for my kids and my family. Cause I'm all they got. They need me. So why the fuck would I stop? I'm destined for success. And it ain't come easy. Had to keep my head up. Cause the rap game needs.
This is who I am. This is from my heart. This is who I'll be. This is where I started. And I've been making my way, making my way. It's all about the fame. I've been making my way. Who I am from my heart. This is who I'll be. This is where I started. And I've been making my way, making my way. It's all about the fame. I've been making my way.
And we are back, y'all. Anna, you in the building? Ooh. No, she's not. So we're going to keep this going, y'all. Anna's Global History Radio.
As above, so below, like the globe, mind spinning, time shifting like the atmosphere. Need to pay attention. Perfume on some cockeye, like hands with detention. It's prison, they lynch me. They words how they intentions. Chanting I can't breathe while the government cat off. Let's take off while the president play golf. Build your house up on the sand. I can't stand it up that soft. Our community won't talk. Too much static, still in shock. Could've trained, but we did not. It's too late to fight that clock. Can't yell fire when it's hot. When the messenger gets shot, cause the peoples are corrupt. And we scared it's gon' erupt. So that mountain gon' get tough. Ain't that big on giving up. Do it big and run it up. Stack your keys and watch your cup. Watch them snakes and watch your mouth. Move in silence, not for clout. Say it like you never doubt. I can't lie, I love the crowd. Gotta keep my ego down. I can't turn anemic now. I just learned to breathe this time. Plotting to take over the planet. Low vibration means constant. Take off, baby, we just landed. On God is scripture and on my verses. Breaking generational curses. We breaking generational curses. We breaking generational curses. I ain't trying to waste my air, running circles with a square. If the space is all we share, why we cutting them like hair? Wiped out like Nair, ain't a single judge that's fair. Loyalty, it be so rare, we can't even see it clear. When the royalty is near, I'm the empress on the team. I speak goddess, I speak king, let's be honest, I see dreams. I don't resonate with memes, sink or swim, throw some wings. See the noise, it's just a scream, don't get drowned by other beams while they busting at the seams. I ain't hiding, I'm a nudist, honestly ain't the rudest. That's why they say the truth first, lying through your teeth, babe. That's how you turn toothless. The same folks killed Jesus, they had to pay. Judas, I ain't going back to old ways. Let me grab my own safe. Y'all your own trunk, and a child in your own cage. Anger isn't wrong, up to you, control your own rage. Author up the story, turn your own page. All these things sounding like granny. Plotting to think over the planet. Low vibration means constant. Take off, baby, we just landed. On God is scripture and on my verses. Breaking generational curses. We breaking generational curses. We breaking generational curses.
We are back, y'all. Anna, you in the building?
Yes, I am. We've just been listening to Daylight, right?
Yes. How'd you know?
Because I looked at your
Oh, you were able to see it?
yeah. So I kind of like not doing this with the virtual background because I don't like to keep disappearing. It's not good when you're the showrunner or whatever. And that for a while, I would do Zooms kind of in this part of my house, and I didn't have anything behind me at all. So it was fine. I mean, I didn't have, I didn't, I mean, it was nothing personal or anything or anything. And then I decided to move in here and to do it here in front of my books. And okay. You might be able to make out the title, The Power Broker by Robert Caro. And there's a website or something, or a Twitter account that tracks people's books in Zoom, or talking heads on the news, or anybody who comes in from their home. So they track people's books. And so there's a article or website showing everybody that has this book, the power broker. So I am trying to get on that list. I don't think they're paying too much attention to YouTube or Facebook Lives, but I want to be on that list. So I have the power broker right there, and I've read it. Not everybody that has it up there has read it because it's about 1,000 pages long, but yes, it is a classic. It is. President Obama says that it was one of the books that formed his opinions about politics. So, because it's about power, and it's about Robert Moses, who was a New Yorker who is responsible a great deal for why New York City looks how it does. He's also responsible for a lot of parks in New York State. So yeah, so okay, so and the book's by Robert Caro, who wrote the 4-volume biography of Lyndon Johnson and is working on the 5th one. He will hopefully finish it before he dies. He's like infamy, it takes him like 10 years to write a book. And his book's huge, but when you're doing books like that, you are supposed to have people working for you. You need to have some assistance. And the only person he has helping him out is his wife, and so that's sweet.
Wow.
Pardon?
I said, "Oh wow, that's crazy." His wife.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how when you're doing huge biographies and stuff like that, you have for example, I mean, you have people that will go do research, go do the actual physical research and interviewing in archives in different places. Then they give that to the writer, because it's their job to put the information together and interpret it and come up with conclusions and all that. This guy insists on doing all of that himself. So that is why his books take so long to write. I had the Power Broker because I'm just experimenting with reading different stuff. I had it out and I put it up there because I'm considering, I'm like, I was like, damn it, I can't even believe I read the fucking book in the first place. It's so long. And so it's not like I want to read it again, but I'm a big Post-it person and highlighter with books, because it's just too hard to keep it all in your head. And I want to be able to go back and look for things. So a book like this has a lot of Post-its. So I had it laying out, intending to go back and do it and look it over. But the problem also with looking at Post-its, hello, Jaime, how you doing? Thank you for watching. It is going to be it is Cinco de Mayo this weekend, which our friend Mario Saucedo is producing with Solano AIDS Coalition. I mean, people come from throughout the county to do this, and Jaime is the DJ for Solano AIDS Coalition. So I've been telling him, Jaime, you need to come to our show and at Integrity and meet DJ Rowe. Okay, another DJ. Okay, but so the problem also, unfortunately, with Post-it, sometimes I'll go look at it and I don't know why the fuck I posted. I'll be looking at being like, wait, what's important on this page? Why did I put up a Post-it? So sometimes, yeah, or okay, but I mean, I love Post-its and I love highlighters. They're just, I always have to, I'm always buying Post-its because they get lost so easily. And I'll think I have, you know, I'll have, because I have them sort of like scattered around any place where I might read, but somehow I just never seem to have them when I want them, even though I feel like I buy them all the time. So we got a couple art stories tonight. So 85% of indigenous art that was given to New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art by one wealthy family could be stolen or fake. So there's a real big difference between between stolen indigenous art and fake indigenous art. And when it comes to fake indigenous art, then it's just kind of like, okay, well, jokes on you, rich people. I mean, you paid for this shit. But it doesn't, you know, people can just get away with a lot because people were not the tribes are supposed to be notified when they acquire, when museums acquire art, but that regulation only went into place in 2003. So, you know, so okay, that's a problem because there's a whole lot of art, of indigenous art, that was stolen before that. But also, museums don't need to notify tribes for loaned art. So somebody like this family can have stolen art in their possession, just have it around their mansion, and then loan it to the museum, and the museum doesn't need to report it because it's just a loan. So that's a big loophole right there. So, you know, that just needs to be figured out. And it's just fucked up because you think like, okay, if you, and I know it's me that I know a lot of people don't think this way, but you know, I mean, if you think something's beautiful and you admire the craftsmanship, then it's just, you know, and just people do it all the time. I mean, why do you have to have it for yourself? I mean, you know, and that's just kind of human nature. I mean, you know, like, okay, I want it's okay, mine, me, human nature. Okay. The other thing that's kind of interesting is, okay, we've talked a lot about the Benin bronzes, which were looted from the kingdom of Benin in the late by the British in the late 1890s. The kingdom of Benin was massacred by the English, and they took a bunch of the art. And I mean, there's photos of it. It's not like a lot of the times with art and artifacts, it's pretty, there's a lot of ways to lie about where you got it. And there's a lot of times, you know, not just lying. I mean, there's a lot of situations where you just don't, where you genuinely don't know. But the Benin bronzes are documented. It's known. So the British Museum has returned some of the Benin bronzes to Nigeria, but now the Kingdom of Benin is involved, and so that's kind of like a corner of Nigeria, and so the king is called the Oba. He has 5 wives and a $500,000 Rolls Royce, and he is trying to get back $30 billion in artwork. And Benin doesn't have a museum. I mean, Nigeria is building a museum, and they said the article said that building the museum is going to cost $4 million. I'm like, I'm like, okay, shit. It's like in the United States, I mean, fuck, you can barely build a cabin for, I mean, that's nothing to build a museum. So it's kind of unclear, like, okay, well, where's the guy going to put this stuff? Is he just trying to get it for himself? Exactly. To put with his $500,000 Rolls Royce. So he is trying to get back art from Smithsonian and the Met. He's trying to get the art back, but a group of African Americans say that the profit is from people selling their ancestors, that the artwork is from profits that were made from people selling their ancestors, so they shouldn't get it back. So when I saw that, I mean, it made sense when I saw it, but when I first saw the headline, I'm like, huh? These people, they don't want artifacts to being returned. And it was like, it just kind of shows how complicated this is, basically. So, I mean, you know, the Benin bronzes are, I mean, they're simpler than other issues because there's documentation of what happened. It's a lot more, you know, exactly what was taken and when and all of that. It was all photographed. They were proud of what they did. But my head just started to really spin because, yeah, so she's basically saying that the ruler of Benin profited from slavery, that his ancestors profited from slavery. I mean, you know, the same way, that is wild, man. I mean, the same way like people now. I mean, like the same way people in the US have ancestors that profited from slavery. So that is a trip. Yeah, so I've been real gung-ho about artifacts being returned, and now I'm like, well, shit, okay, it's a whole different way of looking at it. So, okay, there's an organization called Pilots for Patients that is licensed pilots that fly people to medical appointments for free, to people. I mean, because people in rural and underserved areas, like they do it a lot for people that need chemo, people that need medical treatment that they can't get where they are. So a pilot in Louisiana who volunteers with that organization, he has made a private post on his Facebook saying, if you're a woman with a medical issue that's none of my business, I can fly you out of Louisiana for a day and take you to, and he listed 4 different states at a price that works for you. So yeah, particularly for something that's none of my business. And it's not just, so obviously he's talking about abortion, but they don't know what, I mean, when people are getting these flights for medical reasons, they don't always, that's what he pointed out. It's like, they don't know what the patient is, what they're doing what the procedure is, unless they're told. So he teaches Greek and Latin at a seminary in Louisiana, and he was fired for this post he made on his own private Facebook wall for something he was doing on his own time. And Louisiana is I guess you can be fired at will in Louisiana. You can be fired for anything, basically, if it's, unless it's illegal, you can be fired whenever. So yeah, he was it sucks because I mean, this guy's 40. He's teaching Greek and Latin at a seminary in Louisiana. There's not that many people that teaching those subjects, and not so many young people teaching those subjects. So he was really popular with students and apparently a really good teacher, and now he's been fired. And he said, just because he didn't say what he was going to be doing it for. I mean, so like basically because, and he said that, so they can fire this guy just because of the beliefs of the Catholic Church. So that sucks. And he said that he and his wife have been planning to have a family, but now he's lost it. He's lost his health insurance, so they won't. So he's like, yeah, they're trying to preserve family. Now we can't have a family. But that sucks. It's an example of somebody that's willing to really put themselves on the line for others. That, I mean, there's a lot of people that just talk, and there's people that are willing to put themselves to do that. And, I mean, especially for something like, not many people can fly a plane. And there's not a lot of people that can do things like this. So the fact that he is taking this skill, this knowledge that he has to help people is just something. So this, so the school is fucking idiots, because what I am sure is going to happen is that a company that does charters will hire him to be, to fly private jets for people. He'll make a hell of a lot more money doing that than he would be teaching. And here this stupid ass seminary has lost a teacher who by all accounts was also a very good teacher.
Crazy.
Sure is. Yes. The world is a crazy place. I was, a lot of these laws of the anti-choice laws are in place because of somebody named the Comstock laws are still in effect from the 19th century. And I was trying to read about that, but I just got bored. It was tedious. So I don't read stuff like this that much, but I was reading a book by an FBI profiler, and he's written a whole lot of books about profiling and about different cases he's worked. And I mean, it's important. It's important. And so he was writing about a case that took a murder case, a kidnapping and murder case from 1985. So it was before DNA evidence. But one of the ways they found the person was because this is really fucking twisted. The guy he kidnapped a girl and he had her write a will, last will and testament, and sent it to her family. And they were able to examine that piece of paper and figure out somehow see indentations, because it was from a yellow pad where people had been writing other stuff too. And so they were able to get numbers from like phone numbers and locate the number, and they went to the home of the person whose number that was, and they'd done a profile of the killer. And they said to the people, do you know somebody like this? And described him. They're like, that's our house sitter. So yeah, I mean, it's wild how they can figure stuff out that way. Like, how do you, like, if he'd taken, like, maybe he'd like taken the notepad, like, wow, you can look at a piece of paper and figure out what else has been written on the same pad. So yeah, that was pretty wild. So then I was starting to read a book about the Jonestown massacre. I've just been in, I don't know, kind of a morbid type mood, I guess. I don't know. I have I was reading a biography of J.P. Morgan's librarian, and I'd read kind of a historical fiction book about her that was pretty accurate from what I can tell, but I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. So I found the actual biography. So for the first time, so I got the pages back for my comic. I got the pages. And so now he's at the point of just making corrections on the text of it. It's so weird with the comic artists I've worked with. And if I do this again, I want to do it differently, because they do the whole book and then they put in the text. And I just feel like I just would like it to be, I feel like it's this surprise thing. Like, because to me, I'm like, okay, the pictures, because sometimes I'm like, I can't even really understand what they're trying to get across all the time with the pictures, even though I wrote the script, even though I like wrote what's supposed to go on there, I can't always tell what it is. I'm like, where are the fucking words? Okay, where's the stuff I wrote? So I told you about this. So I sent the pictures. So I sent some of the images, the pictures to a couple people. And so somebody wrote me back, and there was like a major error, which I would have gotten to. It was kind of a placeholder. I'd like it written down a line that like didn't even really make any sense, but I should have known better than to send it out without checking it. And so I made, so I don't know. I mean, I was really nervous to send the pictures to Walter, to Bayard Rustin's partner. I mean, this was like his partner again. I mean, I want him to like it. So I don't know. So I had sent him some, and then I sent him a couple more today, just trying to like explain what was up with it, and that with this one image, I don't know. I mean, part of it was like, I just felt like, okay, the artist came up with this image of Bayard Rustin based on photos and from things I'd said about him. And so once he said he has the image, it looks like Bayard Rustin. And so just for me, not being the artist, I just really couldn't figure out a way to say, you're sort of, you don't, because you can't just give people like totally vague stuff, or I don't know. I mean, I just felt like, okay, I'm like, it looks like him. It's cool. It's a cool image. I kind of couldn't explain like, okay, maybe now I could a little better, like what. So I just hope that I'm worried that he will look too serious for Walter Nagel, even though, I mean, he was in a very serious situation. So I don't know. I mean, but fortunately, these other people I'll have other people to look at it. And the next comic, I don't think it's taken anything from, I'm not right now planning to take anything more from Bayard Rustin's own writing for it. So I'm not really answerable to anybody. And I'm not for this, for the most, I mean, half the book is stuff I made up and half the book is from the lines are from Rustin's writing, but I mean, I came up with what's going to happen in the panels and all of that. So, and I self-published. So I just put at the end, like, this is self-published and self-funded. So any profits are coming back to me. And anybody has a problem with that, they can seriously kiss my ass. Because I can't imagine. Seriously, because I was like, it's not gonna, I mean, shit, artists are not cheap. And they shouldn't be, but damn. So I just said again, I mean, hopefully I would like it to do any more with this material. I mean, I just would like somebody, I mean, it would make a really cool screenplay. So it's just a lot of responsibility, and I just want kind of the minimum amount of explanations and all that, because I don't want to get something wrong, even though I know, and I'm telling, okay, there's always going to be people that don't like something and that disagree, and I don't know. I mean, I'm prepared for that. I'm cool with what's going to happen, but I don't know. Good to get it out. So Biden announced that he's going to run again. Fine.
I knew it.
Yeah. See, what I think he should do is, what I'd like to see him do is run and win and then resign and let Kamala take over.
Do you think he's going to do that? You think that's the plan?
I don't think it's the plan. I think it would be a good idea. I mean, he was, I'm like, shit, because he really fucking, I don't know, man. He just makes I mean, I'm not going to go after him like Fox News goes after him, but he really doesn't sound that with it some of the time. It's really frustrating. And I mean, that it's kind of like when you don't, I don't know. I mean, it's like, say you've had too much to drink and you need to be walking carefully or something. Then sometimes you've had so much to drink, you don't even remember to be walking carefully. So it's like, if you know that something is, if you're having a hard time remembering, that's sort of the nerve-wracking thing. If you know certain things are difficult for you, you should be able to manage. And then he gets in trouble. He got in trouble for having notes at a press conference, which is stupid. People should have, like, yeah, what's wrong with having notes for an important?
Yeah, nothing wrong with notes.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, that's gonna be ugly, man. That's gonna be real ugly. And I don't know. But the thing is, I mean, hopefully, like what happened last time, I mean, I don't know. Oh, and then that fucking idiot, what's the fuck his name? One of the fucking Kennedys is running for president, and he's a fucking asshole. He's an anti-vaxxer. So he's been an anti-vaxxer for a long time. And so, I mean, it is not scientific at all. Anti-vaccine is not scientific, and anti-vaxxers have caused a lot of problems. And so then, and he's a COVID denier. So probably what's going to happen is that Republicans will throw money at him because they think he can to damage Biden. So, you know, and then of course he's a Kennedy, so he thinks it's owed to him. That's the sort of thing again where I'm like, what the fuck? Where is the rest? You know, I mean, the rest of his family says that they don't agree with him, but I don't know. I mean, maybe there's probably not any. I mean, I know if my brother, I wouldn't be able to talk my brother out of doing something he wants to do, but the Kennedys are a big family. There's like 50 of them. Like if it were me and we had a huge family like that, I would get them all together to come talk them out of doing something stupid. So, you know, I mean, Biden's done it. I think Biden's done a good job. I mean, but I don't think that the sort of slip ups he make are indicate that he doesn't have judgment, that he can't process information. But, you know, I mean, apparently like Dianne Feinstein can't process information. I mean, it's awful. She should fucking step down. You know, I'm also watching like, okay, who the fuck needs to step down? Like, okay, somebody needs to be leaning on the older Supreme Court justices to step down. I mean, shit, Trump could win and wind up, say Trump wins in 4 more years, he could I mean, he's already changed the Supreme Court and the federal courts for a lifetime. I mean, he could appoint like 2 or 3 more conservatives to the Supreme Court. Yeah, his bullshit. Biden is supposedly sending the military to the border because Title 42, which was a COVID rule preventing migrants from crossing the border, but it expired. So Biden is supposedly he's sending the military down to, I don't know what the fuck they're supposed to do. I mean, what the fuck are you going to do with people that have been like walking for thousands, you know?
Not much you can do.
I know there isn't. I mean, that is just insurmountable. And it's, you know, then I'm reading about fucking Japan's population decreasing and stuff. You know, there's countries that are scared about their falling birth rate. I'm like, you know, you fucking racist assholes, let people from other countries move in. Simple. Like, whoa, not let people that aren't Asian be Japanese. I mean, I don't know, man. That's a trip. I can't imagine living someplace like that where so many people are just the same. But they like it. But yeah, like fucking Italy is like the biggest, like, you know, I mean, Hungary is like trying to bribe women to have babies, and they're like super racist, and the leadership of Italy is complaining about not having babies, and they're like trying to not let migrants dock. I mean, Jesus, people are complaining about the population dropping when there is an obvious solution of, you know, shit, you have people coming. I mean, most of them are like, yeah, there's a lot of people bringing their children, but most of them are adults that are ready to work. And it's not even like the government will need to spend any money schooling them or something. They are ready to get right in there and contribute and be part of society. So, yeah, the governor of Texas was allocated more money to, to fly migrants to the Martha's Vineyard into rich liberal places, which I think is fine. I think he should be able to do that. I mean, like, okay, again, it's like put your money with your mouth where your mouth is. I mean, I don't have an answer or a solution, but I recognize that. I mean, I want people to be treated well, but I recognize that this issue is a problem for border states, and that they're not all just racist. This is a strain on their resources, and yes, they should have assistance from the federal government. So somebody. So want to take another break?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we'll be back.
Hashtag the house. Working at my own pace, you can't rush genius. Complex type of text when you read this. Candy in the medicine where honey is a sweetener. Pray to an apex by my hypermania. I like the type of kind of gags and had a yak. Telling tall tales where the lies got you trapped. Read between the lines, whether any pages. And when I buy books, my money's wasted. On my P's and Q's when I'm paying dues. Not the one to break them when I change the rules. And the game is well all in till I'm balling. For the culture to all of y'all, it's yes yawning. Used to cater events, now I'm the top guy. Staying hungry with my eyes on the prize. Staying humble because it can end in an instant. So I stay consistent with persistence. Don't talk about it, be about it. If you second guess yourself, be your big status. Make moves, take risks, you got this. Make moves, take risks, you got this. Don't talk about it, be about it. If you second guess yourself, get your big status. Make moves, take risks, you got this. Make moves, take risks, you got this.
Period D-O. How could I possibly know the route I decided to go? Came straight, knocking on the door. I opened, I like to know, I comprehend, oh that's for sure. Don't know what happened to you, I'm focused on me. We ain't part of the same crew, AKA with the dollar asterisk right to your face. Taboo, boo, society pace, leaving everyone else in the rat race. We barely even touch first base. Beginning stage, Nicolas Cage, I rearrange, I burn the sage. Now since I have you on the same page, if you ain't at the house, you in the wrong place.
Don't talk about it, be about it. If you second guess yourself, get your big status. Make moves, take risks, you got this. Make moves, take risks, you got this. Don't talk about it, be about it. If you second guess yourself, get your big status. Make moves, take risks, you got this. Make moves, take risks, you got this.
I got moves to back it, I got chips. I won't lose cause y'all know I got dip. If y'all can't match, then I'm about to dip. I'll chug deuces on all your ostrich. Can't fold, never been common. Burn bodies, I'll switch way too long. They can't find the off switch. Always remain solid, concrete. Don't want a slice, I want the whole piece. So I'll sell yourself short like you're out of season. That to me is treason. Never discount, full price, that's something we can't reason. This action, we about it. Is it cockhead? Don't care what you call it. Is there some risk? You know we call in. They ask how much, we always say all in.
Don't talk about it, be about it. If you second guess yourself, get your big status. Make moves, take risks, you got this. Make moves, take risks, you got this. Don't talk about it, be about it. If you second guess yourself, get your big status. Make moves, take risks, you got this. Make moves, take risks, you got this.
And we are back. Anna's Global History Radio. Anna, you in the building? Anna, you in the building?
Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that is super fucking cool that's been happening is Twitch Talk is back up. Twitch Talk, the show, the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So last week we're recording new ones again, and he live stream, he puts them on lives and podcasts. He live, yeah, he stream, well, yeah, there's like live streams on YouTube, and then they're still up. And so we just watched one, and we just did one, and then I get to do fashion recaps, which are so much fun. I mean, for my book bio, I'm definitely going to have Twitch Talk on there, because so much of the stuff I do is really serious. And so I love being able to do this. And so the themes, the biggest thing I do with the fashion is to look at one of the big things is when people blend into their environment and when they don't, and when people's clothes show connection between them and when they show them like not being connected. So I was listening to one last week. I'm like, damn, I was like, I'm like, where the there's some fashion bloggers that I picked it up from, that concept, but I'll be listening to it to myself. I'm like, what the fuck? When Samantha is wearing greens and browns, it means that she's in Real Housewife mode, because that's the theme, that's the colors of their home. And then there was something or other about Endora was wearing tiger stripes, and Samantha was wearing one of her cute little dresses that was striped. So that was showing sort of the unity and the difference between them, because Endora dresses crazy and Sam dresses like a housewife. So I have to think of one. So we just did one that, damn, what did I come up? Sometimes some stuff is just hard to come up with things for, but you just gotta keep doing it. The next one we did was, okay. Oh, well, we did one with Maurice, with Samantha's father. Okay, wait a minute. That's the next one we're showing. It's amazing to kind of lose track of how many we've done. They're hopefully going to be going up on Amazon, which is fucking cool. And yeah, so I don't know, with the past one, with the most recent one we did, I just felt like I didn't have that much to say about the story, but I hopefully made up for it with my fashion recaps. I mean, I'm worried that I might be running out of stuff to say about Bewitched. Even though, I mean, you can always analyze different, I mean, since we go episode by episode, since we analyze episodes, I mean, well, that's a format, I mean, that's a way, like there's this, like the Sopranos podcasts go episode by episode, mostly. So, yeah, so we've been doing one. Yeah, we just recorded one, which was about Samantha's father, Maurice, losing his powers. And so the theme, Bewitched has this theme of acceptance. So it was about how he actually did a much better job accepting not having his powers than you might expect. So speaking of that, we have something we're going to be doing. Blaxploitation night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ask your dad for suggestions?
Well, he gave me a lot of suggestions. Penitentiary.
What did he suggest?
Penitentiary.
Uh-huh.
He said, penitentiary. There's one called Sweetback.
Okay.
Sweetback, and I told you this one, Rage in Harlem. He brought out the regular ones like the Mac, Superfly.
Okay. Well, we're doing Cleopatra Jones for this one. Unless we can change it.
No, we're gonna keep Cleopatra Jones.
Yeah, definitely. I don't like to change.
I've been downloading like different music to have
Good.
to play that type of music. So
Okay.
before it's we do it, then I'll have the music while you're setting up.
Good.
Once you're ready to play, we can watch the movie.
Good.
It's gonna be live. I like it. It's gonna be cool.
Good.
And just so everybody knows, Anna came with the blaxploitation idea. I'm just completely 100% behind it. I thought it was a cool idea.
But I don't even know. I know. Well, we've talked about it for a while.
Yeah, but that was a good idea because I don't think no one has done nothing like that. That's something that I haven't seen. So that we'll be the first ones jumping on that.
Maybe in Vallejo. Cool. I mean, there's certainly been I've certainly seen it happen a lot. And
you have blaxploitation?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I haven't even heard.
That's kind of how I even know what it is.
I haven't heard about people trying to show it nowadays.
Yeah. That's why I know about it, because of seeing postings for blaxploitation events by people that were much cooler than me. So not that I attended them, but yeah, that is why I even know about blaxploitation. So, well, yeah, I kind of did because we were, since Twitch Talk didn't really catch on, I was trying to think of something else that we could do. And since we've talked about blaxploitation. So, okay. Well, yeah. Well, after Cleopatra Jones, what's the next? What was the one he said? The penitentiary?
Yeah, let's try penitentiary after that one.
Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully people will start showing up for that.
We'll see. I think we will. I'm surprised, man. We had some people come in.
We did.
Out of nowhere. So, that was pretty live.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. The more people out. Yeah. The more people like out and about doing stuff.
And consistency.
Yes.
Once they see it's happening every, third Friday, fourth Friday of the month, they'll start coming. They'll start coming.
Yeah. Yeah. And people are more interested in blaxploitation than Bewitched. That's fine. They're entitled.
I think Bewitched could have did it too. I think Bewitched would have been all right.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I've started off wrong with showing the Twitch Talk, and I'm still, that was so fucking frustrating because nobody came back except for Berlania.
What's up, Berlania?
Yes. She'll be there. Hopefully, because it's a party when Berlania shows up.
Always.
So, yeah, well, it's not the, so Cinco de Mayo it's Cinco de Mayo Friday, and then Saturday is Mario's event. And yeah, you got a happy hour this week?
No, this is a rest week for real.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, good then. I'm ready to wrap up.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Thanks everybody for listening.
Oh yeah. Until
we'll
next
see.
week.
Yeah. Thanks, Roselle. We'll see you all next Wednesday.
Yeah.